Hey everybody, it's Abigail, and welcome to the second day of us busting through your branding blocks together. I'm so excited to share this with you and move on from yesterday's training. Yesterday we kind of went over how to get aligned with your message, how to get grounded in your mission, and how to find the core of your brand so that when you do your visuals, they are representing you in the right way and they're reaching out to your ideal client. So all your visuals kind of are grounded in your own passion and power, and everything is kind of representing you in the right way. So if you missed that training, you can scroll down on my Facebook page and you can find it. It's not going anywhere. It's going to stay up there. So if you missed yesterday's training, head down there, watch it, do some of the journaling activities that we did, and then come back to this video, or you can start with this video either way. So what I have here on my screen is a style guide, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to make it and exactly what it is. So people come to me all the time and they say, my brand is good, I have a logo and I'm making social media posts for my brand, but I can't make everything look the same, and I'm having trouble, getting everything consistent. My branding, my social media posts are kind of all over the place. They look kind of wonky or funky. And that's a problem that a lot of people run into, and a style guide is a great tool for correcting that issue, because a style guide has everything that should be included in your social media posts that you should be using consistently in your brand, and it has it all in one place so you can access it very easily. A style guide is for you. It's a tool for you. It doesn't have to look like this one that I have on the screen, but this is usually how they're laid out. It has all the main elements of your brand, and I'm going to go through these elements in a minute and show you how to use each one. But what I love about the style guide is you don't have to, every time you're making a social media post or designing your business cards or doing an advertisement, you don't have to kind of eye it for yourself. You don't have to guess if it's consistent with your brand. All you have to do is take a glance at your style guide and take all the elements and put them together onto your social media post, your advertisement, your business card, et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, I'm going to go through the elements of the style guide, and I'm in Canva right now. I'm going to go over Canva later in this training. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use it, what it is, if you're not familiar with the program. So stay tuned for that. But here I'm looking at a style guide that I put together for one of my clients last year. And after we went through and created her logo and did all this stuff together, I gave this to her so that she would know how to use her brand consistently. So at the top of the style guide, right up here, we have the logo for the brand. And the logo should be included on your social media posts if you want to just put it in the corner, if you want to make it really prominent. It's just something that kind of guides your brand. It makes the post branded, and people know who they're hearing from. I'm going to skip over the colors for 1 second and just go down to these logo variations. These can also be used on your social media posts. If you have a smaller version of your logo, if you have a square version, a simplified version, those can also go on your posts and advertisements, business cards, stuff like that. So those can be used in exchange for this main logo here. As far as the colors go, those are the only colors that you should be using on every single branded material that you have. Do you got that? Every single branded material should be using these colors and these colors only. You can also use colors like black and white, for text and things like that. That's all right, but you shouldn't just say like, oh, my brand has like purpley blue in it, so I'm just going to use this purpley blue. You should know exactly what color your brand is using. And that's what this number here is. It's called a hex code, and I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. That's called a hex code, and that tells every design program that you use, that tells everything that you use exactly what color. It gives the program kind of directions to the color that you want to use. Your exact blue, your exact green, your exact pink, your exact purple. There's even ones for black and white. It's it guides you and tells you which colors to use. So every brand will have these colors for your branding and in your style guide. Not these exact colors, but have these hex codes. Every color has one. So to find one, I'm going to go ahead and click on this color. I'm going to click up here in the corner, and if I hit add a color, it's going to tell me exactly what the code is for the color that I have right now, which is 858-5C1. So if I were in Photoshop or in another program or even Canva, I'm always going to make sure that if I want to use that purple, I'm going to put 858-5C1, and it's going to tell me that that's the exact purple that I want to use. So usually a style guide will have this hex code under every single color, so you know exactly which one to use for your brand. So that's kind of how you are integrating your colors into your social media and into your advertisements, business cards, whatever. Down here are patterns that you use for your brand. It can also be, if you don't have any patterns that you use in your branding, it can also be, icons that you like to use, types of images that you like to use. It's really just a guide for you to say, these are the types of things I want to use in my social media posts, so that everything looks the same and it's very, very consistent. You try not to stray too far from the colors and images that you're used to using. If you look at an image and you say, I don't really know if this goes, I don't really know if this matches, then it probably doesn't. And you want to have that feeling that it looks completely consistent and gorgeous and everything is just cohesive. Now down here at the bottom, we have the 2 fonts that the brand uses. Now these fonts are everything that you should be using on all of your social media posts, all of your advertisements, your print materials, your website, everything. So when you're going to create a post, when you're going to create a flyer or even your website, you want to use only those fonts. You don't need to have all kinds of crazy fonts all the time, all kinds of different fonts. So this kind of reminds you which fonts you're going to be using. If you don't know what your fonts are, there are great resources that I'll be sharing tomorrow about how to choose those fonts. And how to make them consistent and match and make sure they look good together. But if you have a brand created for yourself, if you worked with a designer, you should have those fonts given to you. And if you don't, reach out to them, ask them, let them know what fonts you should be using for your brand. But people get all crazy with fonts sometimes. They just use the script and all different things. And so I'm going to talk about that in a minute when I go over the Canva program, where people get a little bit tripped up with that. But the fonts at the bottom, those are the only fonts that you should be using. And what this does, what the style guide does, other than just tell you how to make your posts, what it does for your business is when you start to use your exact fonts and your exact colors and everything looks pretty uniform, everything looks the same, people start to recognize your posts on their feed. They start to recognize, hey, that's Shelly's post. It has the pink, it has the logo, and it has those fonts. I know that that's Shelly's post. And then if they like what you have to say, they're going to keep their eyes out for those colors and those fonts again. They're going to keep their eyes out for those images and those patterns. And when they see them, they're going to stop and they're going to read it. If your posts are all over the place, all different colors, all different fonts, none of them look the same, then people aren't necessarily going to know that it's you, and they're going to scroll right past it. You know how quickly we scroll through our social media? We don't stop and analyze every post. We stop at things that catch our eye. So when you're continuing to use the same colors and fonts and put out the great content that you're putting out and engaging with your ideal clients in the right way, then people are going to notice your branded content in their feed, and they're going to stop and say, okay, I want to read this because I know it's Shelly's post. So that's kind of how we use the style guide. And it can be you can create this for yourself. You don't need a designer to help you create this. I made this in maybe 10 minutes in Canva, which is an amazing program. I'm going to go over that really, really soon. But you can make it for yourself. It doesn't have to look like this. As long as you know what colors and fonts and imagery and logos you're using, then you're good, you're solid. As long as you can decipher it, as long as you know and your social media is coming out consistent after you're done using it, then you're good. So I'm going to go over to the Canva homepage here and just talk a little bit about what exactly this program is. Canva is a free online design program, and I'm not an affiliate with Canva. I don't work with them. I just love what they do. I love that they make design accessible to people who aren't necessarily designers, who want to design their own social media. They make it super easy. It's online, it's free. And I just love what they do. They make everything so easy that I even use Canva pretty frequently. So when I want to create a design, my favorite thing about Canva is that it has absolutely everything that you could possibly want to create. It has a Facebook post, it has Facebook ads, a cover photo, a Pinterest graphic, Twitter. It has advertisements, every size advertisement, postcards, invitations, greeting cards. If you have products, you can do tags, email headers, Etsy shop icons, Tumblr banners, really everything that you could possibly want to create. And it's exactly the right size. So when you post something on Canva, when you make something on Canva that's a Facebook post and you post it on Facebook, none of it's going to be cut off or stretched out. It's going to look exactly like it should look on Facebook, which is great if you want your content to come out looking pretty flawless on every social media platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and click Facebook post and go into the designer here. The one thing that trips people up and stops people from being consistent in their social media is they get really, really hung up on these pretty templates over here, which they're very beautiful. The designers put in a lot of work. They look really great. But if you just put your message in here, that's not your brand. That's not your color. That's not your font. And that's not the way that you lay out your posts. So what I recommend to people is you can either pick one of these templates and kind of stick with it and plug your colors in. Like I could plug, my colors in and pick my fonts and things like that and make this one a post that looks branded for me. But then tomorrow I can't go ahead and just switch over to this one and then just put my colors on this post because it doesn't look consistent. It's pretty consistent, but if you start picking these posts and some of these more complex ones and you change it every day and you have all these different fonts and colors, then people aren't going to notice your content. Like I mentioned earlier, people aren't going to consistently know that it's you who is posting this content. So you want to stay away from these templates. Oh, this is really funny and cute. So if this is for your brand, if it's not for, something casual or a greeting card that you're making for somebody or a picture that you're making for somebody, you want to keep it really, really consistent. And I recommend just not using these templates and just getting a design that works for you and just continuing to use that design. I really do like this one. I think this is adorable. But try to just stay away from these templates. Try to, kind of get it working for you and staying consistent with your brand, referring to your style guide. But it does have a lot of features. You can add, lines and charts. If you're making a presentation, you can make a presentation in here with all different kinds of charts and photos. You can upload your logo in here and add your logo to all the posts. You can add any images you want. You can upload, they have free photos in here, but you can upload your own images as well if you found them on a different stock photo website or you have your own branded photos that you've taken. But Canva is such a lifesaver. It really is amazing. You can even order printed. If you're making a brochure on Canva, you can order them through Canva. So it's a really amazing program for staying consistent. One more feature I do want to show you with Canva, and I do not have the pro version. I know this gets way crazier with the pro version, but I can go ahead and put in 3 of my brand colors right in here on Canva. So my style guide, I use it all the time, but sometimes if I just want it to happen very quickly, I save my main colors right here into Canva. And when I open a design, like you saw earlier, I can just click right on my colors and it'll change it. If you buy the Canva for Work version, you can add your logos and your brand fonts right in there, which is very, very helpful if Canva is what you're going to be using for all of your social media, all your designs. It is very, very helpful. So that is the program that I use. I adore Canva. I think it's great. And if you have any questions about what the program does, how to use it, how you can use it for your brand, and anything about how making a style guide can work for you, please drop a comment, send me a message. Let's jump on a call and kind of work through this together. There's no shame in having help, getting through this. And once you have all this stuff down, once you figure it out, and once you break through that inconsistency and go in that block, then you're good to go. It gets so easy. I promise you, it gets so easy once you have all this stuff down. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop a line, message me, comment. My door's open. So stay tuned for the announcement for tomorrow's training. It's our last day. And if you have any questions that you want covered in tomorrow's training, if you have anything that you're really struggling with that you'd like covered in the training, please also let me know that, because I love hearing from you. I love your feedback. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for watching. And hope you guys enjoy this beautiful weather that we're having.